Hello and welcome, you beautiful people. I hope you guys are having a fantastic start to your week. We will be doing a breakdown of this week's challenge defense battle in the Gorge. So, going straight into our lineup, this is going to be the roster that we're using. So, the reason that I took out these last four slots, these are going to be completely optional, up to you, depending on what units you have invested or not. I think these units will probably be the most important ones. Outside of that, you'll notice that I'm not using Anavel or Dusky. So let's say, for example, you have Soha, but you only have her at 3 stars. But if you have Dusky or Anavel with their 5A or 7A, feel free to just replace them. I've just found that I'd rather have the attack speed buff from Soha rather than an extra damage buff. But again, that's completely up to what you guys prefer. So the last 4 slots, I am throwing in these units here. If you're a bit underpowered or if you feel like a lot of units are leaking, feel free to throw in, like we mentioned earlier, Anavel, Dusky, Rogin, Charlotte's fine, Shiwa's fine, Alicia if you need additional CC just to help clear up any stray units that may leak through. The reason I chose these 4 units is I do want to mitigate the amount of RNG that's possible in a tower defense run. So if I have to choose Blue Lightning, it does evolve and I can throw down Arta towards the end of the map just to get this buff to make that stun and damage resist down. Same concept with Shazam and as well as a star. And I'll be running Harmonia just in case I get really good RNG and I'm able to pick up her card later into the map. So we won't be skipping stage 1 just because it has the fewest amount of mobs. So we'll be playing through stage 1 and skipping every stage after with the goal of stacking waves 24 and 25 together. If you find that stacking waves 24 and 25 are too difficult, feel free to just start skipping from stage 1. This is ultimately going to be the way to cut time the most, so we want to be stacking these 2 massive waves together. And you'll notice here that periodically, these bosses that spawn, they'll be causing status effects like blind. So this week's support skill, we do have Angelic Blessing. So this removes status effects from your allies, and it also grants triple rate up by 50% for 8 seconds. So this is going to be super clutch when you do get status effects put on you, but mostly you'll be using this just as a damage amp. But let's go into it straight away. We will be running a really heavy melee units towards the beginning. So let's start with Kraka on this island here. Even though she's not going to be the closest to the gate, I'd rather have her on an attack slot here rather than throwing her later on a crit rate slot or having her on this position where she may not be able to cleave this whole island. Like last week, I think Kraka's skill is very, very important if you can get it. So next we'll be throwing down Melissa here, and we will be throwing Mago up at the top gate. So snakes recently, it has been changed, so, or not changed, but rather if you get Zoratu, he is able to upgrade snakes to a stun. So RIP to my King Galleon. Zoratu is now the new holder of that. Let's throw down Elenoa because we do want to get her cooldown card if we can. And for crush rate, we'll throw down Jaeger here. Absolutely brutal card so far. Next, we'll throw down Zoratu on this gate right here, and we'll be putting Suyuha on the island. Zoratu's skill will be very good. If we can get Suyuha's skill as well, I'll be a very happy man. Perfect. We do want Kraka's skill if we can get it, but let's see how it goes. Next, we'll be getting an ult cooldown slot, so let's throw down Jean. And we'll be putting down Trinity right next to her, right by the entrance of the gate. So this will be the opening that I like to go to, having these melee units set up towards the gate. tends to be the most reliable from what I've seen. If you'd like as well, you could always throw down your ability just to clean up the units if you want to cut a little bit more time. Let me pause it really quick because I do need to focus. So next, we have our crush rate slot. I will be putting Sekhmet up here. And for our attack slot, let's put down Seime in the middle here. And we do get Kraka's buff, which is beautiful. And like I mentioned earlier, you could always throw down these buffs here to clean up rounds a little bit earlier. It lasts 8 seconds, so you're free to put it down a little bit towards the end of the round. We'll put down Sabrina, and for skill cooldown, we'll throw down Soha next. So we're clearing things pretty smoothly so far on any of those. Alrighty, so for attack speed, what we'll do now, throw down Lima at the bottom here. For crush rate, I am completely fine with putting Brandia here. Probably should have taken Kraka's skill. So that boss did spawn on the top there, so I will just want to use that ability there to help clean up. Swords. And Cassandra will be the last unit. So this is going to be basically every unit that you'll need. And anything after that you're putting down, this will just be filler. We'll put down an ability here because it looks like a boss spawned on the bottom. Okay, so we're making decent time, and let's take a look at our cards here. So we have these Thorns, which we know does upgrade with Shazam. We do have Blue Lightning, which I know does upgrade with Arta. This will upgrade with Melissa later. So realistically, I'd put down Shazam or Arta just to roll for these upgrades. If I didn't need any of them, I'd say just don't put any of these units down. There's no need to put down extra units, especially because Eleanoa's buff and Jean's buff. So this buffs 3 random allies, this buffs 5 random allies. The more units that you put down, if you don't need them, there's just going to be a chance where these buffs go to those useless units that won't be hitting any of the units instead of your main DPS units. So unless there's a reason to put them down, I'd say not. You don't really need to. But if having this screen up bothers you, feel free to put them down. We'll put our skill down here. More Kraka skill. So pretty straightforward from here, and this is kind of where we want to be. Feels like we're making pretty good time. Also throw down Shazam because we're okay getting his upgrade for his skill as well. Throw down our skill on the top side. I'll just take Shazam's buff because it can bind those units that are running around. So we're on pace for a pretty good time, and at this point, these bosses will be spawning top and bottom. My recommendation would just be, if you feel like you're DPSing too slow for those slots, just put your support ability on either side that you want to DPS those units down quicker. And I know that having this screen here bothers some of you guys. I'm just going to throw these units for the sake of the presentation. But like I mentioned earlier, feel free to just not put those units down if you're okay swapping between those screens. So here we are on the last stage. So these units will spawn, so we'll put our support skill on the bottom and the top. And one more boss unit does spawn late into the middle, so I will just do one more support skill here. Help DPS this. On the bottom did live a little bit longer, which Kind of sucks. But we get a pretty decent time here. 559. If we had the proper RNG for cards, if we had more of Suyuha's skill, which I kind of neglected, we might have been able to cut maybe 2 or 3 seconds even from that run. But I think this is probably going to be a pretty stable way to run your tower defense to get pretty good times. Hope you guys have good luck when you do your runs. Much love to you guys as always, and take care.